And ladies and gentlemen, fellas, I wasn't going to do this, but we're going to go live, and I'm just going to answer questions. So if you're watching this on the replay, it is 1:58 p.m. East Coast time right now. All right? So we're going to take Q&A questions for this NBA slate. We have right now a three-game slate yesterday, 3-game slate, but man, it's tough. I got the projections, I got the rankings, I got all that stuff. It's up, it's on Patreon. If you want to support me over there, you can. Link down below, patreon.com/Sal_Vetri_. I see people coming in and hitting the like button. Yeah, once you get in this thing, hit that like button. We only got 2 hours to lock, so this is not going to have a huge shelf life, but I'm okay with that. I figured I'd come through. People were asking questions. I haven't taken a day off yet from the NBA playoffs. I will be, without question, especially once NFL starts. But I figure, I got some time now. Took a little bit of a break after prepping some NFL content, looking into the David Montgomery situation a little bit more. I guess you got to stop looking because the story's getting a little bit twisted every single 5 minutes, but I see people hopping in. We'll go through it. We'll go through the injuries, which are pretty much self-explanatory to this point. I don't see Westbrook playing. I see him playing if they get down 3-2 maybe. Seems a little bit quick for him to come back. See a bunch of people getting in here. So what's up, everybody? Let me get this chat up on my other screen so we can have that up while I have my projections up. I see you all coming in. What up? How's everybody doing? Yeah, like button, all that stuff. Projections are out. Early interests. Do I have a list? Yeah, so I made a list of early interests. So here you go. We didn't do the video this morning. I did all this stuff this morning, but I had to do other stuff, right? PGA, Closing Thoughts podcast for Patreon, and then I wanted to prep some NFL content for the weekend just so I can stay ahead by a day or 2 or 3. But what's up, everybody? I'll answer everybody's questions. I'll go over some things. I got my projections up, I believe, on this other screen. Maybe I got to snag them. Yep, they're right here. So hopefully you're having a great start to your day. If you're watching on the replay, like and subscribe. You want to support the sponsor of the show, which helps me out a ton, SuperDraft, 50% deposit match up to $1,000 Rooskies. It's going to be a slow drip, so it pretty much cancels out the rake as you go to an extent, depending on how much money you put in up front. 50% deposit match up to $1,000 with that slow drip. Promo code SAL, my name, easy as that, SAL, multiplier format. I'll answer your SuperDraft questions as well. Now, normally in the past couple of videos, I've given you my number 1 SuperDraft play of the day, and today it's going to be Harden and Giannis, So yeah, they're both my 2 highest projected players. My only 2 players above 61 fantasy points today for SuperDraft projections are those 2 players. And yeah, I would say that Harden I feel more secure about since Giannis is maybe in a blowout, although he played in a blowout last time. All the players seem to play in a blowout the last time. So yeah. See everybody hopping in. What's going on, John? What's going on, everybody? Caleb, what's up, everybody? Yeah, help me cash in the NBA. 0 out of 100 on NBA, says Brian. Oh, man. Today's not the day that you want to try and cash in the NBA. Got you with the like, Salboski. What's going on, man? CJ season, yeah, CJ McCollum is going to look good. No Damian Lillard. That's one big piece of news. So I'll go back to the news right here. So the big piece of news is of today, the biggest one, of course. Well, Westbrook being questionable can change a lot of things up if he actually goes today in Game 5, 2-2 series tie there with Houston and OKC. But Lillard is going to be out, hurt his knee yet again. He couldn't bend it really well, and they just ruled him out pretty early on. So yeah, McCollum's going to see the biggest bump. He's going to go to being about a 1.3 fantasy point per minute producer on this season. Mike in the chat says it's Harden's birthday today, so birthday narrative. Yeah, and honestly, that game is going to be the closest game more than likely on the slate today, so it's just going to be a more appealing game to target when you're talking about trying to actually predict stable minutes from the starters and just the key rotational players. Both teams playing about 8, well, OKC is playing like 9 guys, some days 10, and Houston has just played 8 guys every single time. Potentially we'll play 9 today if Westbrook goes, or just kick out somebody from the rotation. Maybe McLemore would probably be the odd man out if they only went to 8 still if Westbrook was in. But yeah, Lillard being out, it's going to make Anthony Simons look like a nice value. He's going to have to soak up minutes. Hezonja and Gary Trent. Trent already plays huge minutes, but he'll take up more shot attempts probably from 3-point range. And then CJ McCollum is going to become, instead of a 1 fantasy point per minute producer, a 1.3. So a huge boost to McCollum for a guy who plays very similar minutes. And the price point on McCollum is not that higher, right? It's not that much higher. So McCollum right now for me on this slate is going to be my 5th overall play on the day. So yeah, he's 6th overall play on the day. When the price point doesn't rise on a guy who's now going from a 1 to a 1.3 fantasy point per minute producer, and I assume it was because just this slate was already out in time, or they were about to post it when the Damian Lillard news came out. So yeah. CP3 or CJ? So I actually have right now CP3 as the better play, but this is my projection. CP3, 63.04 points. CJ, 43.04 points for Chris Paul. CJ, 43. So 0.04 difference at the exact same price points. The actual answer is both. $112, says Caleb. I got first last night. Nice. Caleb, congrats. Everybody in the chat, throw up the congrats, the emojis, the claps, all that type of stuff. Appreciate that. Yeah. We're approaching 100 people right now, and I assume a lot of other networks or sites are also going live. So I appreciate all the people that are in here, loyal listeners, of course. When you guys clicked on this, is there a thumbnail? There should have been. I'm trying this new streaming thing on YouTube. They just posted. Well, it's been up, but now I'm forced to use it. But let me know if there's a thumbnail. I guess I can just look on my end. I'll answer all the questions. Don't worry about it. Yeah, there's a thumbnail. Cool. CJ. Nice. You think McCollum is going to ball out now that Lillard's out? Yeah, so I hope, like, if McCollum actually plays his 40 minutes of play today, and it's not a blowout, which it probably is going to be a blowout, this team is getting blown out even when Damian Lillard is in there. And now, look, they're down so many bodies. Coming into the bubble. The bobble. We're just going to call it the bobble. Coming into the bobble, you ended up seeing, that's funny, you ended up seeing no Rodney Hood and no Ariza, which was big. Then they lose Zach Collins, right? And they're forced to put Whiteside out there for 25 minutes, which for fantasy looks decent, but for real life, not great. And that's starting to show the last 3 games. And now they're down their leader in Lillard, right? So you have a broken back CJ McCollum. It's rough out there. I don't know how this game stays close at all, but as long as it's not a 30-point blowout going into the fourth, I assume McCollum plays 30-plus minutes, and if he starts to push towards 40, it's a fair price play. Like, even if CJ McCollum plays 30 minutes today, he's still going to look like, for a 3-game slate, an okay play, but I really want him to push towards that 40 minutes of play. So, yeah, I think McCollum is going to ball out, but with the big contingency that he could only, if they get down, like, at halftime, like 61 to 30-something, it's going to be rough. All right. DiVincenzo and Birch for deep value. Yeah, if you're trying to play blowout narrative, that last game blew out, and you still saw all the Mavs or all the Dallas Orlando players get full run. So, it's tough. What's your email or chat on Patreon? My email? What do you mean? My chat on Patreon? What's your email or chat on Patreon? Patreon, you can just send me a message. You just go to my Patreon, you can send me a message. I would have 50% of each. Somebody says, okay, I'll come back another day. Somebody who said that they were going to try and win for the first time out of 100. Good idea. What's up, Sal? What's up, man? Who's the better play, Fultz or Ross? Who will be more owned? So in terms of my projections, I have Fultz right now as the better play. Very similar minutes. I gave him both 29 minutes. I think Fultz has a little bit higher overall upside when it comes to his minutes that he can play. I would assume that Fultz is going to also be higher owned, but I wouldn't expect much. Maybe Fultz is like 35% owned today, 40% owned, and I'd assume like 30+% ownership or close to it for Terrence Ross. So projection-wise, I have Fultz for like 1.5 more points. You think Westbrook plays, Sal? I do not, but getting ruled from doubtful to questionable is always a good thing, right? I don't think he plays today. I think this injury, unless they're unless they're just not updating us as much as they are, he hasn't practiced, right? So there's been no practice for Westbrook. There's not really a lot of time to practice, but he hasn't even stepped on a court in between the days to practice. So quad injuries are really rough, especially for players that play at the intensity of Westbrook. So like if they were down 3-2 and it was desperation, I could see him pushing it a little bit more. But being tied 2-2 in the series, I just can't see him going today. And if he does go, I don't know what he's going to look like. If he goes, I assume he's good to go and he's going to play as many minutes as he can. So I'll lean no. But yeah, we're going to find out hopefully soon. Hey, Sal, good morning. I think Simons is going to have a great game. What do you think? Yeah, Simons grades out pretty nicely. I actually had to boost Simons down because he was popping off too much. Because if you try and look at Simons' fantasy point per minute production with Lillard off the court, a lot of it is in blowout run. So there's a couple of games where Lillard doesn't play and Simons was starting, and he honestly wasn't good in those games. But just keep a close eye on that. A lot of that was in blowout run. Now, he's still cheap. He grades out for me as a top 10 play today, still at $4,000 flat. I gave him 21.03 fantasy points. So I have him right now as a pretty solid play. I expect the ownership to obviously gravitate towards that, at least to an extent. Maybe not, though. Maybe people don't want to play Simons. I really don't know. Right now, at least like early ownership numbers, sites are really far apart. Some sites have him not getting owned at all. Some have him getting owned in a major way. Look, they don't have much depth. So Simons is going to be the point guard that plays before guys like, I don't know, Jalen Horde or Board plays off the bench and those types of guys. Hazonia can see more run, of course. I don't really know how many more minutes they can give Whiteside. So when you're losing 40 minutes out of your rotation in Damian Lillard, Simons is going to have to play more. He's not that great of a player. His fantasy point per minute production is a little bit skewed. He's not a 0.85 guy in my opinion. A lot of that is blowout run against worse defenses. So he's going to be like a 0.7 guy more times than not. A Simons question mark? Yeah, I think Simons is a pretty good option today. I mean, if he's the highest owned guy in the slate, no, but it seems like his ownership is a mystery to a lot of people today. So if he's not going to be high owned, which I find interesting, like who else is going to be a good value today? Like George Hill is in a similar price range. That's fine. And then you have the normal like sketchy Lakers values, right? Outside of that, there's really no 4K options, and there's no really other 3K options. It's all the sketchy Laker value, and then like George Hill and Pat Connaughton in the 3K range. I would say that Simons at 4K projects out for me. How many minutes did I give Simons? It's hard not to see Simons playing 30 minutes unless they're just going to magically give their minutes somewhere else. Like even if McCollum plays 42 minutes. Yeah, like I have Simons playing big minutes, like into the 30s. Unless they give Hazonia a bunch of those minutes. Simons looked lost out there, so it's not really saying much. I feel like Russ will play. CJ Thumbnail, thanks. What's up, my guy? What's going on? I'm guessing Russ won't play today. Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say he's not going to play. If Rockets lose, Westbrook plays next. Yeah, that's what I would assume as well. What is the best optimizer tool? I use a couple of different ones, but Fantasy Cruncher is pretty decent. Really good, actually. Super Mario, what's up, man? Who are your value plays so far today? So, I mean, there's not a lot of value on this slate. Anthony Simons is like the only guy that I like at... Anthony Simons, George Hill are like the only guys that I think look decent at $4,000 or below. Like, there's not much in the 4K range today. Hassan Whiteside at $4,900 looks okay. DJ Augustine at $4,800 looks fine. But there's not like value on the slate. A lot of the value you're going to find is in the 5K range. Steven Adams, Brooke Lopez, Daniel House Jr., Markel Fultz, right? Evan Fournier. The 5K range is where the value's at today, which makes it really hard to play Giannis and Harden if you're trying to do that, or Harden plus a Lakers stud, right? It makes it a little bit more difficult to do that. But you don't have to today because McCollum is going to grade out and at least look like sort of a stud today at a cheaper price point. And then you got guys like SGA played 43 minutes in regulations. Like, don't let that go over your head right now. SGA has been playing like 40 minutes a game, and then he goes out and plays 43 minutes. So SGA to play like 40 minutes today, it's going to make him look really good. Even if he's not playing efficiently right now and still just averaging 1 fantasy point per minute, the fact that the guy's just going out there and still the same price point at $7,400, even though his minutes aren't 36 to 38 anymore, they're 40 to 42 plus. Yeah, I don't think DraftKings has really accounted for that yet. And he's just playing like average. Imagine if SGA goes off in a 43-minute game. It's going to be nuclear. Sub Sal, Giannis or AD? Right now I have Giannis. You like Vooch and Giannis together? Yeah, you're really banking on the game staying close there, but it happened last time. Well, it didn't even stay close. It didn't even matter last time. So, yeah, I think Vooch is a pretty good play today. I have Vooch right now as my 8th overall play on the day. Giannis, I have number 1, assuming he plays 30-plus minutes. Perfect. Thanks, brother. No problem, man. How many Rockets is too many in one lineup? Rockets that I do like today, Harden, House, Covington to an extent. I saw ownership around the industry. Covington was like wildly owned today. I don't know if that's going to pipe down a little bit, but I'm not going to own Covington if he's like the highest owned guy in the slate. He's not doing well in the series. Like, it's not a good spot for him. So I'm not going to be playing him that much if he's that highly owned. He grades out like as an average play for me. So if he's going to be highly owned where I have like 8 other guys in his price range or within $500 around him just looking as good or better, yeah. Like right now I have Carmelo Anthony for 1 more fantasy point for $200 more. And I assume much less ownership. And Melo's going to get a little bit of a bump today too from just overall shot chart with no CJ out there. Orlando and Portland players, question mark? Yeah. What about him? Aaron Rodgers says, Josh. Yeah, that's funny. Is Anthony Simons a good play? As of right now, I will say yes. If the ownership isn't going to skyrocket, which I'm kind of confused as to why it's not. I'm kind of confused as to why it's not skyrocketing yet. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm trying to look at the rotations in that last game. Obviously, Simons played more. So let me just pull up these rotations in the last game to see what's going on here. So Simons, I mean, it's a blowout, right? So Simons plays like the final 16 minutes because it's pretty much a blowout. But Lillard is also hurt. But, I mean, they have Jalen Adams and Jalen Horde that he's going to come in before them. And they just don't have guards. Like, yeah, Gary Trent can continue to play instead of 35, 36 minutes. They can give him 40, but there's still 36 minutes to go around. They can give Melo 40, but there's still 32 minutes to go around. Simons is already playing, like, depending on the night, 6 to 10 minutes. So I don't think they're just going to give Whiteside 35 minutes. They can actually give Hazonia like 30 minutes. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to see Hazonia play 32 minutes. It would suck for them on defense. That would be a huge liability. He would probably brick a bunch of shots and just be a ball hog and not great. But that wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, I would say one of Hazonia and Simons is going to see like big minutes today. They'll either split them and both play like 28, or they're going to like one of them is going to play like 35 minutes. And I would tip my hat to Simons on that one. So, yeah, I think Simons looks fine. I don't think it looks great. I have him projected for like 0.73 fantasy points per minute. So if he only plays 26 minutes, yeah, he's going to suck. But if he plays 32 plus, it's going to be pretty good. So we'll see what the starting lineup news looks like. All right. Kevin Birch, Slate Carmelo or Trent? I'll go Carmelo. You like Vucin? So we answer some of these. Let's see what else we got. Dort is like 10. Dort in like 10% of them. 10% of lineups. Is that his ownership, you mean? Yeah, Dort doesn't really do much for me. He's going to play huge minutes. He's a very good defensive piece. He's been playing at the center when Adams isn't out there for the small ball lineups. Caruso getting some run, but he doesn't look to score. Yeah, especially in blowouts, Caruso will get run. It's just all those guards, right? It doesn't matter. All those wings. Caruso, Green, KCP, J.R. Smith to an extent, although he's playing no minutes. None of them are really that appealing to me, but you have to at least account for them because Danny Green will go and score 27 fantasy points, I believe, like the last time out, right? KCP will go and score 20 fantasy points when he scores like 16 real-life points. They're all so scoring dependent. So on a slate like this, yeah, when they're all in like the mid 3K range, right? $3,500 KCP, $3,400 Caruso, you have to at least consider them. Like they have to be in player pools, and that's how they are for me right now, but I'm not excited about it. CJ is going to run the point. Trent, Melo, Hassan, Nurkic, and then bench run will go to Mario, Gabriel, and Simons. Yep, I agree. Yep. What Justin just said is exactly right. But here's the thing. Like, because starting Hassan Whiteside, obviously they're screwed with depth, right? They would rather that have be Zach Collins right now, but they can't. He's injured. It's just so bad for them. Like, Whiteside can't go out there and play 32 minutes. And if he does, he's either playing the game of his life on defense or they're just getting wildly blown out and they don't care. So, like, I don't think the Whiteside's minutes change all that much. Like, I think you can go ahead and give Whiteside, he's been playing, like 24, 25 minutes in games that have been, like competitive to this point. I don't really know how much more you can end up going out there and giving him. So that's why I think, Mario soaks up the minutes. I don't think Gabriel is really going to directly soak up minutes from Damian Lillard. I think it's going to be Mario and Simons is the obvious fill-in option, but he's also, just like Hezonja, a liability out there. So they're screwed. There's just no way that they can win this game. Sal, what do you think of Ken Birch? Yeah, the only way you're ever going to get Ken Birch today is if you think it blows out and he plays 25-plus minutes. I have Ken Birch for 16 minutes. He looks absolutely horrible if that's the case. But obviously, when you're projecting Ken Birch, you're not really projecting a 30-point blowout. So Ken Birch, for me right now, is one of the worst plays in the slate. He ranks 49th overall for me out of me ranking 58 players. He grades out for 10.55 fantasy points at 3,200. That's me giving him 16 minutes. If you think this game blows out and you think Ken Birch is going to go and play 28 to 30 minutes, he probably still sucks, but he might get you there. $3,200. Sal, what about Ken Birch? Okay, so there you go. If Russ plays, it's going to crush House and Gordon's value, 100%. And they're priced up now, so it sucks. Like, I wouldn't play Eric Gordon if Russ is playing. Augustine, Harden, House. Gordon, House. Actually, I got him in one. Okay. Anyone playing Fultz or Augustine with the Thunder guards available? I think both are good options. I prefer Fultz, but I assume the ownership is much higher on Fultz today. It has been this whole series. So ownership is going to be much higher on Fultz. So that's where Augustine starts to become a little bit more appealing. It's a lot higher on Fultz today. It's like 2x in a lot of spots. Let me see this. Be sure to hit the like button, people, while you're here. Subscribe button. I just saw Josh. You super chatted. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Josh says, hey, Sal, great content. If you had to pick one Thunder player and one from the Rockets not named Harden, what is your best values today? So if you told me to pick one Thunder player, let me factor in everything for you. I appreciate the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for that. Appreciate you, sir. So right now, I would pick SGA. I have Chris Paul projected out as the better value. I have Chris Paul. He's the exact same price as McCollum, but I'll take McCollum there. So I'm going to take SGA, although I like SGA and Paul a lot. They're both top 10 plays. SGA is 11 overall. But SGA's minutes are very sneaky right now. Like, I think if you're tuned in and you're watching this, you know he's playing 40-plus minutes and 43 in the last game. But he's not being accounted for that in his DraftKings price. He's just been playing like average as of late, and he's getting huge minutes. Once he actually plays half decent in these games, and he's going to play 40 minutes plus, he's going to be dropping like 50 fantasy point days like it's nothing, like his first or second and third game in the series. So I'll take SGA on that side. And then as of right now, it would be Daniel House, if you're asking me for somebody not named Harden. $5,500 Daniel House would be the Houston player, given that Russ is not in. So I would fade the ownership that's coming in on Covington for Daniel House right now. And I assume Daniel House is going to be a lot less owned based on the fact that Covington's picking up a ton of ownership. We can check on this. Yeah, Daniel House is not picking up any ownership. This seems off. But, yeah. When to buy the hat you were wearing, and they only had burgundy or white left in stock. I'll buy the burgundy after winning a GPP tonight. Nice, Angel. Yeah. That's crazy. So you went to the site? Were you the one who asked in the comments? Yeah, this is a friend of mine's. This is his local business. So it's him and his buddy. They're personal trainers. So they just actually bought a space and they're renovating it to make it a gym, I believe, or a studio of some sorts. But they have merch, and this hat is Nike based. It's honestly the nicest quality hat I've ever gotten. That's not even a joke. It's Nike. It's all that. So yeah, if you want to check it out, I guess I can drop their link in here. So I want to let you know that you have helped me make a lot of money. Stay blessed. Thank you, Roscoe. I appreciate that. All you, man. Any Nurkic love, Sal? He seems to always to play well when McCollum's at the helm. Yeah, it's interesting because like Nurkic isn't going to grade out well because he's still pretty expensive, right? Price point relatively coming down, but he doesn't look that great for me today. I have him in a player pool because he's just too much of an upside player. Why won't this work? He's just too much of an upside player not to at least have in a player pool. But at 8,600, I only have him for 42 fantasy points. Obviously, he has a bigger ceiling on him than that. I think he looks fantastic on Super Draft today relative to DraftKings. But yeah, I like Nurkic today. He's going to be a guy who you go for upside for GPPs because the minutes are going to be sketchy with the potential blowout. But it's going to have to be all him and McCollum today and a little bit of Carmelo Anthony. So all these Portland guys aren't going to grade out the best. Outside of probably McCollum and maybe Simons, depending on how many minutes you give him. But I really do think that there's upside in there if they can keep this thing close. And if they don't keep it close, I don't even know. You're probably going to see like Jalen Horde in a winning lineup tonight. Giannis or Harden? I'll take Harden. All right, gang, how long have we been live? I think I might wrap this thing up. We've been live we got 269 of you in here right now. What up, gang? That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me see this. Viewer activity. Stream health is good. Alrighty. Cool. We've been live. I don't even know. It doesn't even tell me. 21 minutes. Okay, we'll go for a little bit longer. Maybe like another 10 minutes, and I'm going to bounce. House over Covington? Yeah, for me right now, I'm going to take House over Covington. I have House projecting out better, and the ownership is wildly over on Covington. Like, look, I don't have Covington as a terrible play. Covington for me right now is my overall 20th play in the slate, but House is currently grading out as a top 10 play, so I don't know really where the disconnect is right now. I'm trying to see if I'm missing something. I have them both playing big minutes. And I just have them at similar rates, and a lot of ownership coming in on Covington is making it a little bit less appealing, and he's more expensive, so that might play some factor into it, but it's not crazy. How many Blazers are too many? Yeah, so I'll just put this out there as a disclaimer. I haven't even entered contest yet because this slate is disgusting. Like Houston and OKC is obviously a game that it's going to be competitive, you would imagine. The rest of these games look gross. Like, yeah, don't be shocked if you have Dwight Howard scoring 40 fantasy points today because he plays 26 minutes because it's a complete blowout, right? Don't be shocked. And, like, you can't account for that unless you're just going to try and guess and throw the dart. Like, even if there's a blowout, then who gets the run, right? Who gets to run in a 30-point blowout? So it's just tough. It's a shit show today. It really is. That's why I did put out a video this morning because I was doing everything, and I was like, if anything, I'm just going to do a live stream today because this is a terrible slate. I'm going to end up playing, I bet, but like, I don't like this slate. You can play as optimal as possible. You can have the best lineup heading into the contest today, and ownership, everything included, right? You have a great leveraged lineup, and it could be looking fantastic, and then the Lakers are up at half 60 to like 35. I don't know if that happens. It could be close, right? It's the NBA. We just have seen it in a couple of games this series, but it's a very scary slate when guys like Dwight Howard are in winning lineups in the last game because of that. Ennis and Clark for value. I wouldn't go to both of them in the same lineup. I prefer Ennis. Would value power forward on FanDuel? I honestly don't play FanDuel, to be honest with you. Hit that like button. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. A lot of comments are coming in. If I don't see your comment, if you want to leave a super chat, I'll be sure to get to it because then it pops up, right? It pops up in green like Josh did. But I'm trying to get to all of them, but there's a lot coming in right now. Like I can't even. It's pretty crazy how many people are actually watching this live. Thank you, everybody. Almost 300 of you. Hit the like and subscribe if you want to support via the Super Draft. You can link down below, projections, all that stuff. I'll also throw into the chat right now on Patreon if you want to go support over there. You get 2 months free if you sign up for the annual package. Dort or Clark on a GPP? I'll go Clark there. Daniel House or Carmelo? I'll go, that's a good one. So Daniel House is going to give you better value, but I have Melo for more fantasy points. Actually, yeah, I'll take House there. I like both, though. Like Melo has, in my opinion, a bigger ceiling on him. That's actually a very good question between House and Melo. For me, it's going to be House, but it's close. I have them for like the exact same fantasy points. House is just cheaper. Whiteside or Tucker? Whiteside. I've been stocking Rockets players. Would you still recommend for tonight? Harden, Gordon, and Tucker. I wouldn't want to play all three of them tonight, to be honest. Thanks, brother. Trent or Dort? I just hate playing Tucker. I don't think I played him since the restart because of just how terrible he is. Ersan for blowout run. I don't even know if he plays in blowout run much. They gave him like 8 minutes and the game was blowing out in the last game, even though they gave their starters minutes. Like, you have to get the blowout so right. If the blowout happens midway through the fourth quarter, Ersan's going to play like 6 or 7 minutes. He's never going to get you there. And he's not even playing like in the first half of these games right now. So like the blowout run guys you want to target are guys like Pat Connaughton that just stay on the court in blowouts and are already going to play like 20 minutes, right? But it's weird. In the last game, the game blows out and they still don't take their guys out. What are some of these teams waiting to protest and sit games? What about some of these teams wanting to protest and say, I don't know. What does that matter? They're all playing today. Giannis or Harden? Also, are you planning on doing golf live stream today? No golf live stream today. Harden for me today. But they're my 1 and 2 plays in the day, Harden and Giannis. So I'm going to take Harden. I haven't projected for 2 more points. Giannis is the better value, but I think Harden's minutes are more stable. Rank McGee, Howard, and Whiteside. Whiteside, Howard, McGee. House or Gordon on FanDuel. I don't play on FanDuel, so I don't even know what the prices are, to be honest with you. I like House more on DraftKings. House or Carmelo? It's a really good question. Again, I will slightly lean to House, but I think Carmelo has a higher ceiling, so I guess it depends on the game you're going to play in. Lou Dort or Clark? Clark. Who's your favorite center, and who is the chalkiest center? I think my favorite center is going to be between Steven Adams and Brook Lopez today. Hassan Whiteside is going to give you some sort of value. You're going to get lower ownership on Nurkic. I assume Whiteside picks up a ton of ownership today. So I'll say between Brook Lopez and Steven Adams. I don't really have a preference. They're both top plays for me. What's good, Sal? Got the notification. Didn't know you were live. What's up, man? What's up? Sal 2020. What's going on, Cody? How you doing? That hat is actually dope. Yeah, man. It's sick. I could put the site in if you really want me to. Let me try and look this up. I'll put their link in. It was like $20 or something. They shipped it to me. Let me look. Try and help them out. I mean, I went to college with a kid, really determined, just doing his own thing, personal training, helping other people out, right? Nurkic or Whiteside? New gym in the area? No, Mike. This is in Norristown, Pennsylvania. So if anybody's in PA, it's going to be coming soon, Norristown, Pennsylvania. Any value Lakers as a pivot off the Magic? Yeah, the Lakers look like absolute dog shit, but that's the thing. Like, LeBron, KCP is like a value Laker. Obviously, he's $3,500. We can say the exact same thing for Caruso. Dwight Howard to an extent, depending on if he gets blowout run, increased minutes. None of those guys do I feel good about. Sal, great job. I watch all the videos. What's your favorite 2 sub 5.5K values? Brook Lopez would be my favorite, and then a mix between probably Markelle Fultz after that, Fournier, and Anthony Simons. Lakers bigs, that is. Any value as Lakers pivot off the Magic? Lakers bigs, yeah. It depends how many minutes you want to give Dwight Howard. He would be the guy for me at 3,800. He grades out for 18.5 fantasy points. I only gave him like 16 minutes, but if it's a blowout again, he'll get more run. One more question, Big Sal. Is there any value in power forward today? I mean, I think Giannis grades out his value at 11,300. He's my number one value play in the slate, to be honest with you. Outside of that, Mario Hezonja, if you can get lucky there, and then I think Carmelo is going to be a pretty decent play today. Not much other value. Everyone like his video so he stays longer. Yeah, I'm about to finish this up. You doing a week 1 NFL video? Yeah, I will. I'm not going to do it now. It's just so pointless. Like, you can do these videos early because it's fun to do it and it's like enjoyable, but for me, it's a waste of time. Like, there's no reason to do these videos like a week or 2 or 3 before the season starts because look at all the injuries that are happening every single day. So many. Mike Williams, David Montgomery today, uncertainty now. I don't want to just be doing a pointless video. What's up, Sal? You think Anthony Simons is worth it today? I want to see what the starting lineup looks like. But I think Anthony Simons is probably going to play close to 30 minutes. So it doesn't feel great, but he grades out for like 21 fantasy points, which is okay. He's like one of the only value options. He's probably the best guy at $4,000 or below right now. I want to donate some merch. I'm a North Carolina music producer that's got a business called Good Money. I like the name of that business. Yeah, if you got a black shirt, with white letters that just say Good Money very simply across it, those are the type of shirts I like. Go ahead, donate it. Unless you want to donate to the audience, then you can do that too. Reach out to Alvin Black. How do you like Trent today? He doesn't grade out ideally, but I do have Trent in a fine spot. Like I think Trent, he's going to be a bad point per dollar play, but if he takes increased 3-point attempts, that's what it's going to come down to. He's probably going to take an extra 2 or 3 3-pointers today with no Lillard. Does he hit them? That's what it comes down to. So that's what you're wagering on when you play him. Steven Adams or Brook Lopez? Yeah, Pat, that's a great question. I'm probably going to try and play 2 of them in some lineups. Like if Hassan Whiteside's picking up all the ownership, and for good reason, he's cheap. I have Adams right now as my number 3 play in the day, and Brook Lopez is my number 4 play in the day. So picking between them is really, really tough. I'll lean to Adams as the game probably stays closer, but Adams is also more likely to get pushed off the court. So minutes-wise, it's going to be pretty close for them. So many injuries happening, soft tissue. Yeah, exactly. Sal, Ross or Fultz? I'll go with Fultz. George Hill, question mark? Yeah, he looks like okay value. One of like only 2 guys that I like under that. Got it. I'm going to send it to you at Sal. Sounds good, man. Yeah, send it to me. That sounds cool. Reach out to me on Twitter or something. Simon's getting the start, and is Jeff Green value going down? Yes, I think Jeff Green's value is going down. Simon's, I don't think he starts. They've been just running out Whiteside and starting lineups, which isn't great. So if they're going to continue to do that, I don't think he starts. All right, gang. I think I'm going to bounce. Let me see this. My email be popping up here. Cool. All right, everybody. I'm going to bounce. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you want to support this channel by supporting one of the sponsors. Superdraft promo code SAL, S-A-L, get you 50% deposit match up to $1,000 Rooskies in a slow drip style, so it kind of cancels out the rake. And then Monkey Knife Fight, Supreme Draft Guide is out. It's ready. If you're drafting anytime in the next 2 weeks, which I assume a lot of you are for fantasy football, get the Supreme Draft Guide. Information in the description below for how to get it for just like $10 Rooskies. And you get some other benefits. All right. Thank you, everybody. Simmons or Dort? I'll go Simmons there. Love the data-driven approach. Excellent content. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. Do you like Fultz or DJ better regardless of price? I have Fultz projected for more, but factoring in ownership, I'll prefer DJ. But I like both. All right, everybody. Peace out. All right. Let me put this thing up and end screen.